Hello everyone, welcome to Economy Simplified Series of Drishti IAS. My name is Disha Bhatt, and in today's video, we will be talking about one of the most important institution of global economy, that is World Bank. Let us start. So, first of all, I want you to look in this slide here. UPSC has already asked a question from the World Bank topic. In Prelims 2025, this question was asked. We will try to solve this question in the last slide. Alright, so let us discuss. So at the first place, let us try to understand that what is the exact background, why there was a need to create the World Bank. Okay, so after World War II got over, most of the countries, mainly the European countries, were economically devastated. Okay, so the government of those countries, they did not have the money to rebuild their infrastructure. You know, whenever the war happens, the infrastructure gets damaged. Okay, the healthcare system, the educational system, and the entire infrastructure was collapsed, okay, during the process of war. And these countries have no money to finance that particular infrastructure. They did not have the money because most of their money was exhausted in the war. They were fighting a war, right? And that war lasted for so many years. So all of their money was exhausted during that particular war. So they did not have the money to rebuild the infrastructure. So that's where World Bank came into the picture. Now let us read. So World Bank is an international financial institution which was created to promote the economic development and poverty reduction, particularly in the developing countries. Okay, so it was established in 1944. Now here there are certain key facts which you have to remember for your exams. Okay, you have to mug them up. So always remember the year in which it was established. It was established in 1944. In which conference? In Bretton Woods Conference. So World Bank was established in 1944 during Bretton Woods Conference. Is there any another international organization which was established in the same conference? Yes, the answer is IMF, that is International Monetary Fund. Okay, World Bank and IMF were established in the same conference, and because of this reason, World Bank and IMF, they are called as Bretton Woods twins because they were established in the same conference. However, the objective of World Bank and IMF is entirely different. Okay, the objective of World Bank is to provide the long-term development loans to the developing countries and to the poor nations. If we talk about IMF, the objective of IMF is to provide the financial stability. Let's say if any country is going through a balance of payment crisis, if that country does not have enough foreign exchange reserves, then that country will go to the IMF. So both are having a different objectives. Both of them were created to improve the economy of the countries. Okay, so both of them are Bretton Woods twins. That you have to remember. This is the additional fact which you can write down in your notes. Okay, now the next thing, we have talked about the year in which it was established. Now where the headquarters of World Bank is located, it is located in Washington DC, US. Okay, so the headquarters of World Bank is located in Washington DC, US. World Bank provides the finance means World Bank provides the long-term development loans to the developing countries, policy advice, technical assistance, and development knowledge to the member countries. Okay, now the major areas of intervention include poverty reduction, infrastructure, health, education, climate action, and institutional development. Now all these aspects have came in the later phase. Okay, especially this climate action. Now this was introduced in the later phases. In the earlier phase, when the World Bank was established, its primary objective was to help the war-torn countries, means to help those countries which were indulged in the war. Okay, now let us talk about the twin goals of the World Bank Group. What are the twin goals? The first one is to end the extreme poverty, and the second one is to promote the shared prosperity. That means prosperity should be shared by everyone. If there is any prosperity, if there is any economic growth happening, then that should be shared by everyone. Not only the rich should bear all the the rich should get all the benefit. All right, so it should be shared by both the countries, both set of countries, the lower income countries as well and the upper middle country as income as well. Inequality should be reduced. Okay, so the shared prosperity objective focuses particularly on improving the welfare of the poorest 40% of the population. Now let us move forward. After that, we will try to understand the 5 key institutions which are a part of World Bank Group. Okay, now let us talk about the key institutions which are a part of World Bank Group. Okay, the first one is IBRD, the second one is IDA, third is IFC, then there is MEGA, then ICSID. All of that we are going to discuss one by one. let's talk about IBRD, that is International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. See, you do not have to memorize all these key institutions. We will try to understand the concept, that why they were made at first place itself. Then only you will be able to solve the questions which are asked by UPSC. Okay, so why IBRD was made? IBRD is a principal lending institution of the World Bank for middle income countries and credit-worthy low income countries. Have you noticed the keyword here? See, IBRD provides the long-term development loans. IBRD provides the lending. Okay, to whom? To middle income countries. Notice the keyword here. IBRD helps the middle income countries and those low income countries who have some credit worthiness, means those lower middle income countries who have the ability to repay their loans. Okay, so it provides loans to the middle income countries and credit worthy low income countries. It provides financing primarily to the governments and projects backed by the sovereign government. Its lending support the areas such as infrastructure, health, education, and institutional development. Okay. Now, what is the financing mechanism? From where does the IBRD gets the money to lend to the middle income countries? Okay. So basically, IBRD raises the major portion of its sources from the international capital market. So IBRD takes the money from the international capital market because IBRD has a very good credit worthiness. It's a part of World Bank Group. So because of this reason, okay, it gets its finances from international capital market at a very concessional rates, and then it takes those funds and provide that particular funds to the middle income countries and credit worthy low income countries. All right. Okay. So we have discussed about IBRD. Now let us come to IDA. Now how IDA is different from IBRD? Both IBRD and IDA provides long-term development loans to the countries. But there is a key distinction here. See, if we talk about IBRD, it provides loans, it does lend to the middle income countries and credit-worthy low income countries. If I talk about IDA, IDA does the concessional financing. It focuses on the world's poorest countries. Are you able to notice the distinction here? Okay, this is where UPSC traps you. That's why I have focused so much in the previous institution. Okay, so the IBRD provides lending activity to the middle income countries. If we talk about IDA, it provides lending to the world's poorest countries. Now what it does, it provides concessional loans. Concessional loans means, let's say if there is any poor country and that poor country wants to raise $100 million, okay, for its water, to develop its water infrastructure. Now if that country will go to a normal commercial bank, so it might be a possibility that normal commercial bank, any commercial bank would provide a loan with an interest rate of up to 8%. But if that country will go to the IDA, IDA will give the loan to the country in a very concessional rate, or probably they won't be charging any interest. So it provides the concessional loans, it provides the grants. Now what is the key distinction between grants and loans? See, in loan, if you are borrowing a money, then you have to repay the principal amount. But if we talk about grants, you do not have to repay that amount. Okay, so this is the key distinction. Then support for basic development and social sector programs, then debt relief support in the specified case. Now, what are the major areas of intervention? In which areas does the IDA works? Mainly in the sector of primary education, basic healthcare, water and sanitation, infrastructure and institutional reforms. Okay, so always remember the key distinction between the IBRD and IDA. All right. Now, is there any difference between World Bank and World Bank Group? Yes, there is a difference between World Bank and World Bank Group. If I talk about World Bank, I mean I'm talking about IDA plus IBRD, which we have already discussed. Now, if I talk about World Bank Group, it not only includes IDA, it also includes IBRD, it also includes the other three institutions which we are going to discuss further. So I can say that World Bank is a part of your World Bank Group. World Bank Group is more broader than World Bank. Okay. All right. Now let's move forward. The next thing which we have to discuss is International Finance Corporation, that is IFC. Okay. Now what it does is IFC is a private sector arm of the World Bank Group. Unlike IBRD and IDA, which primarily finance governments and public development programs, IFC focuses on the private sector development. Okay. We have already discussed about IDA and IBRD. Both IBRD and IDA provide they provide loans to the government sector. Okay. But there should be an institution which is focusing to provide loan to the private sector, because investment is done by both government and private sector. Now let's say that the private sector, there are certain companies in a country, they want to do investment, but they are not able to finance their investment. They are not able to get loans. So in that case, IFC will help them. Okay. So IFC provide loans to the private sector. Okay. It not only provide the loans, it also provides them the advisory services. Any kind of advice, if they have to provide, they provide to the private sector. Then mobilization of private capital. The broader objective is what? To encourage private investment and support economic development in emerging and developing economies. All right. Next, we have MIGA, that is Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. See, in the name itself, notice the keyword here, that is investment guarantee. That means any kind of a guarantee is being provided by that institution. Now, to whom this institution is providing guarantee to? See, MIGA promotes foreign investment in developing countries by providing guarantees against political and other non-commercial risk. See, World Bank, what is the twin objective of World Bank? World Bank wants the shared prosperity. That means development should happen in every country. Now, sometimes what happens is that, let's say that there are foreign investors. If foreign investors has to do an investment, they will approach a country where there is a political stability, where there is a very good market. They will choose that country automatically. Okay. But there are some poor countries, they are not able to get, they usually do not get the foreign investors. Why? Because there is some risk associated. It is related to your war and civil disturbance. It could be your currency inconvertibility and transfer restrictions, and there could be a breach of contract. What I mean to say is, let me put it in simpler words, that there are certain countries which are not able to get the foreign investment because of their unstable political environment. Okay, so MIGA provides guarantee on behalf of those countries. What does MIGA says? That private investors or foreign investors can come to this country. We will provide you the guarantee. If any kind of war and civil disturbance happen, we will give you your money back. We are providing guarantee to you on behalf of these countries. Okay, so that the poor countries are also able to get the foreign investment. Are you able to understand the objective? All right. Now this is what MIGA does is. Now let us move to the next organization, that is International Center for Settlement on or Investment Dispute. Okay. So as the name suggests, ICSID provides institutional framework for settlement of investment dispute between states and foreign investors. Let's say if there is any dispute between country or state and foreign investor. If there is any dispute going on between a foreign investor and a state, who is going to resolve that? That's where ICSID comes into the picture. So ICSID tries to solve a dispute between state and foreign investors. How it will solve a dispute? Through arbitration, conciliation, and fact finding. Now the interesting part is, and that is also important for your exam, that India is not a member of ICSID. Okay, we have read about the 5 institutions. Out of those 5 institutions, India is a part of all institutions except ICSID. Okay, India is not a member of ICSID. Remember this fact for your exam. Okay, now let us go to that table. Let us revise whatever we have read. Okay, if I talk about IBRD, IBRD provides financial assistance to the middle income and credit worthy low countries. If I talk about IDA, it focuses on the poorest countries. If I talk about IFC, it focuses on the private sector because the other 2 institutions are already focusing on the government. Okay. If I talk about MIGA, it provides the investment guarantee. And if I talk about ICSID, it settles the investment dispute. And India is not a part of ICSID. Okay. Now, I have a special announcement for you. So currently, we are having a festive learning offer where you will get the 50% off on all the courses. And after this offer is valid between 26th of August and to 30th of August. And after 31st of August, there will be a price hike. Okay. And these courses are available at the lowest price of the year. And if you want to avail this offer, you can call on this number 87501 and 87501. Now let us talk about the governance and structure of World Bank. How does the World Bank functions? Now, first of all, at first level, there are board of governors. Okay, there are board of governors. Now, board of governors are the highest decision-making body. Now, each country has a one governor. It comprises one governor from each member country. The governor is generally the country's finance minister or central bank governor. Now, the meeting is done once a year. They meet once a year during the World Bank IMF annual meetings. Now, the major policy decision is taken by the board of governors. Okay. Now then at the second level, there are Board of Executive Directors. Now what does the Board of Executive Directors do? The day-to-day operational decision making is done by the Board of Executive Directors. It consists of 25 executive directors. They are responsible for day-to-day functioning, lending operations and project approvals of the bank. Okay. Now there is a president of World Bank Group. Okay. Now this president serves as a chairman of Board of Executive Director. If I ask you that who is the chairman of Board of Executive Director, it is the president of World Bank Group. Okay. So the current president we are having is Ajay Banga. He became president in June 2023. So at present, he is the current president of World Bank Group. Now let us discuss about the voting power. Okay. In World Bank, if I talk about World Bank, here voting power is weighted rather than based on the principle of one country, one vote. Okay. Here your voting power depends on your shareholding. How much shareholding you have. Okay. If you have a high shareholding, then your voting power will be on a higher side. That means you will be having a more influence in the decision making. Okay. And how your shareholding is decided? Your shareholding is decided mainly through your capital subscription. How much capital you are contributing to the World Bank. Okay. So if you are having a higher capital subscription, then you will be having a greater voting power. That means greater influence on the decision making. If I talk about the India's voting power, so currently India has 2.9% of share. Okay, and the highest share is held by the US, that is up to 15.85%. Okay. Now let us talk about the major reports which are published by the World Bank. See, UPSC has already asked a question on ease of doing business report. Okay. So it is important for you to read about these reports. See, the first report is World Development Report, that is WDR. It's an annual flagship report on major development issues and policy challenges. Okay. Then there is Global Economic Prospectus, then Commodity Market Outlook, then International Debt Report. See, out of these 5 reports, I would suggest you to remember this one, Global Economic Prospectus and International Debt Report. Okay. Remember that these 3 reports are released by the World Bank. Okay. Now let us try to solve this PYQ. Okay. Consider the following statement in respect of the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. It provides loans and guarantee to the middle income countries. Second statement, it works single-handedly to help developing countries to reduce poverty. Third, it was established to help Europe rebuild after the World War II. Now you have to tell me that which of the statements given here are correct. Okay. Now also solve this question. This is a practice question which I have attached here. Which one of the following best describes the International Development Association? Option A, it provides insurance against the political risk faced by the foreign investors. It primarily provides concessional finance and grants to the world's poorest countries. Option C, it primarily resolves dispute between the foreign investors and government. D, it provides equity finance exclusively to the private companies. Okay, try to solve these questions and write down your answers in the comment section. I hope you liked today's lecture. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.